And we are live here, folks. Let's get it going here. As we got football season, we got the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Dallas Cowboys, and already a horrific injury here, folks. Already, but let's start off for hopefully a good Packers season here, folks.
This is Tom Grossi, and you're watching the PackReacts podcast. Let's go.
That's all they give him? That's all they give him?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to PackReacts. I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler, along with my other co-host, Mike Arvonio. And actually, yes, this is working, folks, where I don't have to do a split stream with Mike and me. It is actually working on YouTube and X. I don't know how, but it's working. So maybe that was a tech issues I had before, but it's working now, folks. It is working now.
Wait, we're on live on X and YouTube?
Apparently, because I just looked at it, we are live on YouTube and X at the same time. I don't know how it worked, but somehow I might have.
Wow, this Riverside thing is great. Good
So
find,
it is working now for some reason. So yeah, we're gonna roll with it. Of course, we got Packer diehards, Brett, one of the members here from the podcast. So welcome here.
Thank you.
Brett.
You
It's
bet.
been a while. Remember the last time was the draft of 2024, correct? That was
Yeah.
our draft party?
It was, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a good time. We didn't do a draft party this year because the party was in Green Bay, so no draft party. Did you guys
True.
do
Yeah.
anything for the draft?
No, honestly. I wanted to so bad as soon as I heard it was going to be in Green Bay. Made plans to. I actually had a wedding of a really close friend come up that weekend, so a little bitter about that. But of course, had to make it for that. So
Nice. So we couldn't have done a repeat anyway, but maybe we'll do another joint show in 2026.
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's do another one after this one this year. How about that? Super
There
Bowl
we go.
party or
A
something.
Super Bowl party. Oh,
Ooh.
okay. We'll hold you to it. We'll hold you to it when that occurs.
All right.
There we go. But,
So so we've had Brett on in the past. So our usual what do you call it? Beginning for guests of how you became a Packers fan. If you're interested in how Brett became a Packers fan, watch his first video. I think you've been on the show. Technically, it's your third time with the
I think
Yeah.
yes.
with our joint show.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we're probably gonna kick it into the big news of Packers sphere. We haven't had a show since then. I think that's on Jeremy
No.
and I for not having an emergency podcast.
Yeah.
But last week we had Tom on, Tom Grossi, which again, big shout out to Tom for coming on, as well. Big shout out to John and Big B for joining the second part of the show. But one of the things we were mentioning at the end, which was a big asterisk if it would occur, would be the trade of the star player of the team that's playing currently. That's up 7-0 against the Eagles.
Wow.
It is, of course, Micah Parsons, defensive end from Dallas. And the Packers did end up making the trade. It
Yes.
was rumored at the time, but Friday it came into fruition, I think, or Thursday it came to fruition.
Thursday.
Thursday, right? Thursday it came to fruition, and Micah Parsons is your newest member of the Green Bay Packers. Unfortunately, there was a cost to that, not only a monetary cost, which was not a small monetary cost, but a personnel cost. We lost Kenny Clark, obviously our star defensive tackle for a long time. He's been the longest tenured and the only draft pick remaining from Ted Thompson. Okay,
Sorry,
I didn't think
I
that
meant
was
to
funny.
say that. I meant to say that for later. Sorry, I meant to say that for like Parsons trade when you're about to announce it.
Well,
right
now
I
it's
was
funny.
thinking
Now it's funny that we're announcing our departure of Kenny. But The last remaining draft pick of Ted Thompson, so I thought that was interesting.
That
Every
is
player in
interesting.
this team
Yep.
was drafted by Gutekunst or acquired by Gutekunst in some way. So welcome Micah to the team. Of course, that's a big welcome. I think all three of us, I'm pretty clear.
Hold on.
I can speak for all
I need-
three of us that
I
that's
need to get this
the
better.
one move this offseason that would have the biggest. Jeremy's having fun with his newfound powers.
You gotta
Yeah.
try it out.
But yeah, I think that if we asked at the beginning of the season what the biggest move the Packers could make to change this team, at least I would have said Micah Parsons. Didn't think it would have been able to happen, but of course it happened. So
Yep.
let's kick it to to Brett to start as our guest. What's your thoughts on the Micah Parsons trade? One, are you happy about it? Two, you think that the compensation is fair? And three, how do you think that could impact the team and our season this year?
I mean, of course, I'm happy about it. I'm ecstatic. It was kind of funny, my story when I found out. I'm in Eastern time. I'm down here in Florida, right?
Let's go.
And it was right at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So I was just at work, finishing up my stuff. And I put my phone in my pocket and I was walking out to my truck to head home. And I'm leaving, and my coworker buddy of mine, pulls right up next to me in traffic and rolls down his window, and he's yelling at me. He's like,
No
"Do you
way.
guys see? You guys got Micah?" And I was like, "What?" And we're stuck in traffic, so I pull my phone out, and it's blowing up. Like all my chats and everything I got. My cousin's calling me, my dad's calling me, my Luke and Max are like blowing up our messaging. Like we got to get something out. So luckily, I only live like a block away from home, so I booked it home and got some posts up and everything. We were super stoked. It was kind of surreal. Like at first I was like, is this real? And then I see everyone talking about it and I'm like, holy smokes, this actually happened. Because we were one of those accounts that kind of clapped or we got on board with some of the memes that were going on a couple nights prior and everything
Yes.
about, how Packers Twitter gets, especially when we're always in the mix with everything. And so we hopped on that train and got everything. And by the next day, me, Max, and Lucas were like for sure convinced we weren't going to get them. Like it's whatever. Okay, we rode out the wave, and so the fact that it happened was an insane shock and awesome. But I'm super excited to see what he can do for this defense. I'm sure Hafley's super excited. He's got one of the best weapons in the NFL on his defense now. I'm interested to see what packages he's going to put together, especially with Rashawn on the other side. LVN, who will be rotating in and apparently got a little bit better. Hopefully he gets that junior year jump that he needs to become a guy. But I'm really looking forward to the one thing that this defense didn't do so well last year, even as a top 10 defense, was pressuring the quarterback. So the fact that we're getting that on top of the turnovers we were able to come up with without quarterback pressure, I think is just going to elevate this defense to a top 5 defense. Top 3, not 3, in my opinion, honestly.
No, I totally agree. And one thing you mentioned was the impact it's going to have on Rashawn Gary. I think that's the unsung impact that this is going to have. Not only is Parsons probably the best defensive end in the league, but Rashawn Gary, who's supposed to be a top 10 guy, who I really think never lived up to that, to his potential and to kind of what he was sold as. There's no excuse for him now. I mean, you got to think that most offenses are going to try to double team Parsons. And if you're double teaming Parsons, Rashawn Gary better be, single teamed, if not completely unblocked sometimes. I mean, obviously that's not the goal to keep him unblocked, but, things are going to go wrong when you're focused on Micah Parsons coming off of one side and Rashawn Gary, who, is an elite, I think, player. I don't think he always plays like it, but I think he's an elite player and has the athleticism and the skills to really take over a game by himself. At least that's what he should have been able to. But now that he has Parsons coming off the other side and offenses have to account for that, I would think that the tight end chip is going to be on Parsons most of the time. And Rashawn Gary really should just have to beat one tackle to get to the quarterback. And, this is a big year, I think, for Rashawn Gary. He should have an outstanding season. And if he doesn't have an outstanding season, I don't really know what else there is to do with Rashawn Gary because he has a great opportunity in front of him. In
Huge.
addition to Rashawn, like you said, LVN. LVN is a guy that we spent a high round draft pick on. In a lot of ways, we spent half of what it took to get Micah Parsons and LVN, right? It might honestly even be less because assuming the Packers have a good season this year, that LVN draft pick was what, top 20?
Top 15. No, yeah, it was top 15. I'm pretty sure if I'm correct,
Top
because it was
15, right?
I think it was like 13 or 15. That was the pick. I'm pretty sure, Mike.
Right, and let's say theoretically the Packers make the Super Bowl the next 2 years. Not saying it's gonna happen. Let's just say if you look at the points of what LVN was like in trade value points, that top 15 is probably worth just as what they traded away. So
Yep.
theoretically, right now the Packers have 3 defensive edges on this team that are of that caliber, right? Because Rashawn Gary was a top 15 pick, LVM was basically a top 15 pick, and Micah Parsons, we traded away the value of close to top 15, if not a little bit higher, top 10 pick, right?
Right.
So the Packers should have the best pass rush in the league by far at this point. And it's not only on Micah Parsons. I think what Micah Parsons allows us to do is open up the other side and have a elite pass rush, if not the best pass rush in the league, 2 or 3. There's no excuse for the Packers not having a top 3 pass rush
I
after
agree.
getting Parsons. Now, the one hole that this opened up, that then I'll kick it to Jeremy because I know I've been talking a lot, is obviously running up the middle. Losing Kenny Clark, as much as I think it was the right way to lose Kenny Clark, I think it was time. He's getting older. He's cost a lot of money on the cap. But it does leave a hole in the middle of the defense. Now, I think he'll be okay, considering we have Colby Wooden, who's going to take a step. Devontae Wyatt is a first-round pick. There's really no excuse for why he can't take Kenny's spot. But we do need Devontae Wyatt to take a step. Now, I know there's the free agent. His name is escaping me right now.
Stackhouse.
Yep.
I don't think Stackhouse. I think it's somebody
Or
else.
I'm sorry. You said free agents. I thought you
Free
said.
agent.
I think you were talking
Free
about
agent from
undrafted.
Miami, I think. Undrafted Stackhouse, right? He made the team, which is probably when he made the team, they probably knew this was a possibility or very highly possibility, which is why he probably made the team. We're going to need somebody to step up in the tackle position because that's the one hole that this creates. Christian Wilkins, right? Is that the guy I'm thinking about? That's a
He was a Raider. He was a Raider, but he's still a free agent, but got cut though. He was Miami Dolphin, then signed a big year contract and all that.
He's the guy that I saw on Twitter being a good idea to sign, and I'm on board for that because I think you need somebody in the middle.
I agree.
I'm still not 100% sold on Devontae Wyatt. I think this is his season to make a jump, regardless. And now he absolutely has the opportunity, and we need him to make the jump. But the one place that this Packers defense I think is vulnerable, other than the outside the cornerback position, right now is up the middle. So really happy that we got Parsons. And the other thing before I hand it off to Jeremy, since the Packers pass rush should be so good, that's going to help our cornerbacks and outside defenders, because the quarterback should not have basically any time to look for people downfield. And if they do have a lot of time where the cornerbacks become an issue, there's something wrong. So maybe Gutekunst found an outside way to solve for his lack of cornerback problem by making an elite pass rush that no one can stop.
Mm-hmm.
So just some thoughts. Go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry.
All right, I'll go on how. I want to take a little back a couple months ago because you guys already mentioned how this can fit into the defense here. I want to go back to when the Super Bowl occurred that weekend. Was when Micah Parsons had Jordan Love on his podcast. And jokingly, of course, when Micah Parsons asked about like who would you want your team right now, and it's all like funny business, and Jordan Love really points at Micah Parsons that he wants him. So we obviously saw through this offseason, even leading into the draft and everything, that these guys had a strong relationship here. They went to Egypt, I believe, on a fun summer trip, and they also share the same agent, David Mulugeta.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you kind of knew already. Plus, with Micah Parsons in his time with Dallas, he already had multiple like former Packer players, coaches like Mike McCarthy. Wouldn't have been shocked because I'm pretty sure Brian Gutekunst, you don't think he contacted Mike McCarthy to get some info about him. I'm pretty sure he did to get some info about him. And so this whole situation to me reminds me about the Reggie White situation. I'm wearing my Reggie White jersey here. And what reminds me
Nice.
about it was, thank you, Brett. What reminds me about it is when Reggie wanted to get a new contract and everything, the owner wasn't willing to give him the new contract. He wasn't willing. And how the Eagles, like, honestly, like, he's putting up statistics. Same thing as Micah Parsons. How the playoffs resulted, they kept losing and losing, not getting far in the playoffs. And to me, it just kept reminding me of like, okay, he wants to get somewhere. He needs somewhere new to get something here. And it just reminds me like the path he took of like, obviously it was like the only difference was he got traded and where Reggie was a free agent, but like it's kind of the same path to lean into it. But what really shocks me though is Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys GM, president, owner, everything about Dallas Cowboys at this point now. He doesn't do these types of situations, especially if you watch the Dallas Cowboys Netflix documentary. He doesn't do this, and he waits till the last second. I would kept saying to myself when we were in the mix, I'm like, he's not going to do it. Like he did with Dak Prescott, like the day before, as we're doing football tonight, the Eagles Cowboys game. He did the day before the Week 1 game against the Browns last year, paying Dak Prescott the most quarterback money you possibly can be. He did CeeDee Lamb the year before, and then he did Emmitt Smith in the 92-93 season where they won the Super Bowl. 2 games when they lost to start the season, and then he finally paid up. And what surprised me even more was Jerry was willing to do to the trade him to the Packers when he said on the Netflix show that the Packers own him pretty much and suffered the worst loss when Jordan Love Manford gave him that fat L a couple years ago. So, yeah, I think the situation to me is like remarkable of how that happened, of like it actually came real. And for me, of how I found out, to give a quick backstory, I was actually at my brother's wedding rehearsal. And before we start, I literally just turned my phone on and I see John, who's been on our show before and last week. He sends a text that Micah Parsons is now a Packer. I'm like, no effing way. I don't see it. No way. And I don't see Mike texting. I don't see our other friend Jeff texting. I'm like, all right, I got to do my research here and look real quick. And I go on the Twitter and go on Instagram to go see, okay, is this actually real? And then I see it and then I get so hyped. And then I'm like, I can't do, I was kept doing the rehearsal. I'm just like, I really want to go home right now. I just really want to go home, make a video. I want to go quick and so do it fast and quick. And so in that process, Brett, and like I made a quick reaction video of like if you were at your office and you just got a phone call saying he was, and I screen my car and just be like, yes, we got him, and also do a breakdown video and everything about it. Just stoked to see that. Absolutely stoked to see that. And this trade conversation of what we got, I think the Packers got a pretty good deal for what was being rumored and what probably should have been given when you give 2 first-round picks. They're going to be late first-round picks. They're not going to be like top 15 picks. That shocked me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Clark, I was shocked to see him go because I would have thought it'd been at least Lucas Van Ness or Rashawn Gary. You give up Kenny Clark. Now, Kenny Clark, I love him. I'm going to miss him. He's playing right now. But we saw last year he had injured his toe and came off the worst season of his career, and he's starting to decline. However, he's still 30, and that's what he's known for of his ages. But he's starting to decline a bit. So I think the Packers got better compensation of that. And this whole deal reminds me of the Khalil Mack trade so many years ago. We gave basically the same compensation. Bears gave the same compensation basically, except like a draft pick, more of a second-round pick than giving up a player. And we gave the same like amount of contract deal basically. So the Packers almost got Khalil Mack a couple years ago, guys. Except the Raiders decided to go to the Bears for having lower first-round picks. So that was a whole like fiasco to me, and just amazed me. It absolutely amazed me to see that. Just we got him, and I'm still processing it right now. Like I don't know how we got it, but we got him, and I'm just happy. Now my only slight concern with Micah Parsons. Obviously, the back, but I'm not too worried about the back. My issue with him is his playoff performance. He has not shown in the playoffs a bit. When you look at his games, especially in the Packers game, or you look at the 49ers game, he hasn't done. Now, that's not entirely his fault, but like you would expect him to be better in the playoffs here. And I expect
he
him
for the Cowboys though.
I was just gonna say, I think that's a Cowboys thing, Jeremy.
Well, yes, but I'm just saying there's a little factor in that, of course. Especially when you had like Dan Quinn, you had Mike Zimmer now. So hopefully we get to see like him being good in the playoffs. That's all. Like that's my only concern with Parsons is just the playoffs a little bit. But overall, I'm very happy with this deal, and I don't know if he's going to play. I'm pretty sure he's going to play this week, despite all the reports. And I would just hope for him to be on a snap count. That's just me, so he gets ready for Thursday game as well.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
That's all I
think that
got.
he's going to be on a snap count. I don't think he plays. Well,
I think if
very
he's
few plays.
I think if he's in a snap count, it wouldn't just be because of injury. It might just also be because of a new defense, learning kind of how we do things,
I agree.
kind of like a due diligence type deal. But I want to piggyback off you. I won't belabor this too long, but I want to piggyback off you what you brought up, Jeremy, about how Jerry Jones actually dealt him to us, and I think that is the biggest shock, honestly.
Yes.
It's a big shock that Brian made the move at the time he made the move with what the rumors were saying and how kind of things go typically. But it's like Jerry just gave his bully the brass knuckles out of his back pocket and said, "Punch me." The guys that kick him out, right, of the season, us Green Bay Packers, he just gave us one of the best weapons in the defense on defense in the NFL. And for what? 2 first rounds and Kenny Clark, I think a lot of people, even Cowboys fans, are a little bit disappointed on what they got in return. Now, time will tell how that turns out. But the current outlook right now is that those are probably going to be late first round picks, like you said, which aren't as valuable as it would be if you traded it to a lesser projected team in the NFL and outside of your conference, which is more likely in these scenarios. So I think those are the 2 big things actually coming out of this trade. Not just the fact that we traded for him and Goot went out and got him, but that Jerry actually accepted it and went through it with those 2 factors.
No, definitely. And it's also like to kind of piggyback off you, Brett, the biggest thing that mind boggles me to this year of this Packers offseason is who would have thought the Packers got a wide receiver in the first round and we traded
Yeah,
for a star
exactly.
player? That's what shocks me about this franchise because it's like history tells ourselves we didn't really do this at all with Roger or the Favre. We really didn't. We do this, and I don't understand how we do this, but this is what
Ed
I like us to
policy.
do this for. I thank Ed Policy. I thank him for that because Mark did not, and Mark Murphy found out after he gave his speech at the Packers Hall of Fame. We got inducted that night too.
Yeah.
So,
Coincidence? I don't know.
I'm looking at the AI, and I don't know if this data is 100% correct because I haven't done my due diligence, but just curious because I mean, not only is this a huge trade in terms of the player that got drafted or traded, it's the age that's very important. So you had brought up Reggie White before. I do not think Reggie White had a 2 in front of his age at that time, right?
I think he was like a little. I feel like he was a little older, if I'm correct. He was like 2 years older, if I'm pretty sure.
31 when he signed, right? So Parsons is only 26. So I just wanted to see, like, what other big trades have happened in NFL history that involve someone who's 26 or younger?
The Khalil Mack one, but I don't know if he was. I don't think he was 26.
I don't think Khalil Mack was 26. I think he was older than that. He was 26.
Oh,
okay. So that's a good equivalent right there. Raiders and Bears. He had 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. Plus a player on top. So just there, the Packers got a better deal, right? Granted, Khalil Mack wasn't paid as much as Parsons getting paid. This is saying Minka Fitzpatrick got traded at age 22, which I don't know if that doesn't sound right.
He got traded, I think, like a second or third year when he was with the Miami Dolphins to Pittsburgh, and now it's back to the Dolphins.
Oh, really? Well, we got traded for first-round pick. Then Trey Lance was traded at 23, but obviously,
That,
a lot
that
of
was
these
a great
people
deal.
are offensive players. Quentin Williams on the Jets to the Bears was traded first-round and second-round pick on defense. Roquan Smith was Bears to the Ravens second and fifth, but not to the extent to here. Another one was Jamal Adams at 25.
Yes,
he had
I
2
remember
first-round
that.
picks and a third-round pick, plus a player.
Terrible trade.
But then Jamal Adams ended up sucking.
Yeah, he did suck. That's
but other than that, you're right. The only other defensive player is Khalil Mack. So this is a huge trade for the Packers on the defensive side. Because really in NFL history, a player of this caliber at this age has never changed hands before. And that's why this is such a big thing. Because look, the Packers have him for what, 4 years? Locked in?
5, I think.
Well, 5 now because it's a 4-year extension. They're kicking in the last year of the Dallas contract.
Got it. So they have him for 5 years. And, I'm assuming they're going to want to extend him at some point, especially if he lives up to his thing, right? So
Right.
probably the Packers have an opportunity for 2 contracts in Micah Parsons, who arguably, in my opinion, could be the number 1 defensive player in the league. Love to get your thoughts on that. If there's anybody you think that, is above him at his age, of course. But I think he could be the number 1 defensive player in the league.
I think so too. And back on the contract thing, I think Russ Ball did a phenomenal job.
He did.
Of making the last 2 years. We'll see, right? It is either locking him in for a second contract, or God forbid something happens, we can get out of it and not get totally screwed. So I'm loving everything about it. The compensation, the contract, and his value and everything.
No, I agree. I mean, like when you just mentioned about the contract, and I'm looking at this, like the first 3 years, like 2025 base salary 1.17, 2026 2.38, 2027 3.10, 2028 40 million base salary. Like
There's the cap, right?
That's like, this is what I like about with Russ Ball is he makes these great contracts, like a ways to get out of it. Like when the Josh Jacobs deal happened, he had a way to get out of it. Had Josh Jacobs sucked terribly last year, he could have instantly gotten out of the contract. That's what I like about Russ Ball and how good he operate is they can get out of these contracts to make it less bad than making it very, very bad to give everything to the guy.
Right, and the way they market this is they say, okay, look, you're just worried about the number. We're going to do this in a way that works from the cap perspective.
Exactly.
Which, you would think would be good for the player. I would almost say, hey, you want to structure it this way, not just give me the cash, give me a premium, But, hey, look, the players want to win too. So having a good cap for the team is good, especially if you're locked in long term. But one thing I wanted to mention is how did we get here, right? I mean, we're just saying that we just got a trade of the best player in the league at 26, right? We traded away the best player in the league in Aaron Rodgers, but he was what, 31, 30? No, older than that.
It was older. He was like 35.
35.
Yeah, he was older. He was like way
Definitely
older.
31. Apologies on that. But so no, yeah, you're right. Wait, isn't he 41 right now?
Yeah.
That's where I got the one.
Yeah.
So he was what, 37, 38?
Yeah, somewhere.
Definitely had 31. I was right on the one though. I had seen the one. That was 10 years before. So how did we get here? So I think the reason why Parsons wanted out of Dallas ultimately was Jerry Jones's negotiation tactics. And it's funny because Rodgers had a similar grievance against the Packers in terms of getting rid of players that had a great career in Green Bay and then kind of were getting older, and then they kind of like didn't see them well or didn't treat them well on the way out. So I think this goes to show you that, look, the players do have a lot of negotiation ability because they still have to show up and play. And I think what Micah Parsons did was he went on Twitter, kind of made some of his grievances with what happened, kind of similar to Devontae Adams, if you think about it, right? I don't know if Devontae Adams really went public all that much, but there was really no ability for that relationship to occur and continue because of some of the issues that happened. And I think that's ultimately what happened, because it seems like Micah Parsons really didn't want to leave Dallas. He ended up leaving because of the contract,
Jerry.
The way Jerry treated him. But I don't think he wanted to leave Dallas. I don't think we'd be talking about this if they treated the negotiation process differently.
Right.
And what's also interesting I saw was what the Packers offered Parsons really wasn't all that much more than what the Cowboys offered, because you got to remember that Texas has no income tax, no state income tax. So because Wisconsin has a state income tax, the math, and I haven't corroborated this math myself as a CPA, probably should have, but somebody on Twitter said that basically he's only making like $1 million in the total 5 years of his deal, more than he would have made in Dallas with the $8 million more he's making a year because of income tax. So, and I honestly wouldn't doubt it, because, if we're talking about 4, 5, 6, 7%.
Now, real quick, if I might chime in, I just learned this recently, but I just realized learned that players actually pay income tax for road games, because you're paid for the week of where you get it. And so you get that they get that paycheck in the other state. They have to pay that state's income tax.
That's right.
But in actuality, obviously Dallas, you got more home games. In Green Bay, you got less away games that are in a state income tax list state. If that makes sense. Any sense. So there is still a residual there for sure, which brings the incentive. But I just thought that was a funny nugget.
That's correct. And that does change it quite a bit, actually, because you're right. You'd be paying it for half the games. Now, what's also interesting is, let's say you're live in Wisconsin, right, and you earn money in Wisconsin, but then play a game in Texas. You don't get the benefit from the fact that they don't have any state income tax there because you're still paying your home state income tax. So that's correct. Dallas, if you lived in Dallas and then played in like Florida, you still wouldn't pay tax in that state, but there's also no income tax there.
Shout outs.
Yeah, so it's interesting, but you're right. I guess you really can't look at it 100% that way, because he would have still played some income tax and playing for Dallas. So I'm sure he's still making a few more million, but it's not 100% the difference, because you're right. Like not eight or 7 or 8 of the games, excluding playoffs, would have been in Texas versus Green Bay. So yeah, ultimate story is he didn't really make much more in Green Bay than he would have made in Dallas. But ultimately, I think kind of what happened there was the relationship kind of blew up, and it was just the Packers were in the right place at the right time, where they did the due diligence. They had Kenny Clark to offer, and I think that really at that point in time, there's really no other team that could have made the deal in the timeline that the Cowboys needed. And the Packers just were there at the right place, right time, and who knows, might have made the deal of the century.
Fell right into our lap. Agreed.
It did.
Yeah,
It did.
and it goes to show you the value of doing your due diligence, being in the right place at the right time. Honestly, surprised no other team kind of was in that position.
There was the Eagles. The Eagles were rumored to go ahead. They were trying to get him very hard, but Jerry didn't want to trade him.
Cowboys weren't going to trade the Eagles.
But Howie Roseman was trying heavily hard to get him, but Jerry said, "I'm not trading to the Eagles because they're in my division."
Yeah, no way.
I heard we were the only aggressive team. There were a bunch of teams that inquired, but apparently I heard that we were the only team that aggressively, full on the table, this is what we're going to give you for him. And then I guess Jerry was just like, you know what, get this guy out of town. So
yeah, I think that makes sense. And the other thing is, Ed Policy, this is his first season as Packers president. I think he wanted to make a splash, maybe possibly
just like his dad.
Right,
exactly.
maybe possible Super Bowl run. So this is what needed to happen. I mean, I had mentioned before that the only way the Packers make the Super Bowl this year was if Matthew Golden has a offensive rookie of the year season. Still think that's largely true, but I think that this opens up the Packers' avenues to the Super Bowl quite a bit. Having a top level pass rush in this league is not anything to take lightly. And this should be a very difficult defense to stop. I would hope that we have, if not the most, but one of the top 3 most sacks. And it's gonna, I think, mask a lot of the problems that we have in the secondary, and maybe give us some time for Nate Hobbs to get more healthy. Maybe somebody gets opened up, on the trade deadline, or trade for a cornerback or something. If we have the ability to make a run, but this I think really helps this team a ton, not just this year, but in the future. To get a player like Micah Parsons, an upgrade, and Packers need to move on from Kenny Clark sooner rather than later anyway. And this was kind of the best way to move on for him. And it helps Kenny out too. He gets to play in another place. A place like Dallas seems like a good place to play. I'm not sure if he's playing tonight, but didn't seem like he was sad about it. He said his daughter was very happy. So that's all good stuff. It seems like everybody won. Other than maybe Jerry Jones.
Well, he's winning right now, so maybe that changes, Mike, for just tonight. But
maybe.
Let's see if Kenny Clark is playing today. Is he playing?
Let me check.
Yeah, he is.
Sure.
He already has a tackle.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah, it's not,
Shout
they're not
out.
winning anymore. It's 14-14. Jalen Hurts has 2 touchdowns,
I could have taken him fantasy, but
like
I
2
chose
like
not to.
running touchdowns.
I chose not to. I took Jalen Daniels over him.
Dang.
I
Crazy
chose
stuff.
that. I
Jalen Hurts,
chose
man.
that. But
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. As much as we love Jordan Love, who would you prefer, Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love? Because we could have got Jalen Hurts.
I definitely prefer Jordan Love, and I mean, you could say that's my bias and everything, but Jalen, I think is really benefiting from a system right now. If Jordan Love was in that situation, I can't imagine the amount of cooking he'd be doing. But I honestly don't think Jalen Hurts has as much success on Green Bay Packers roster as Jordan Love has had the past 2 seasons.
You,
I'm with
Jeremy?
you there. I'm with you there. I've had to explain to Eagle fans so many times because I'm from outside the Philadelphia area of dealing with Eagle fans. So I have to explain to them every time because, like, I made a whole video about this of like why I put Jalen Hurts like 7 or 8, for example, whatever I had on my list. I put Jordan over him because I think what you just mentioned, Brett, that's one reason why. Also, to me, the tush pushes. We're gonna look how many touchdowns did he get again, Mike, tonight?
2, but they weren't
Two.
touch pushes.
Yeah. So
They weren't.
that's
It was
my
regular running touchdown.
okay. So every time when I saw last year, when the comparison of like his rushing TDs, about 80% of them were tush pushes that were like 5 yards or less at least. That kept annoying me so much, and especially when you have Saquon Barkley on your team, you got AJ Brown, like that definitely helps you out. Like in my opinion, I don't think he should have won Super Bowl MVP last year. I don't think he should have. I think it should have been gone to a defensive player, in my opinion here. But I think what you mentioned, Brett, that if you switch sides here and you put Hurts in our situation, you put Love in the Eagles situation, I think Love does better than what Hurts would do in ours.
I'm going to be a little bit more in the middle here. Look, I think Jalen Hurts is good. I think that anybody that says that he's a fluke is completely wrong. I mean, look, he's won a Super Bowl. He's probably the most dominant running quarterback there is. Maybe you could say Lamar Jackson, but I'd
I mean,
probably pick.
there's also Josh Allen too.
Yeah, but I would pick Jalen Hurts as a running quarterback over Josh Allen. Now, I would pick Josh Allen as a quarterback over Jalen Hurts, but as a running quarterback, I'd pick Josh Allen. I think Lamar Jackson probably gives him a run for his money, but I still probably think he's better. But look, I think Love's a better thrower of the football than Jalen. But I can't give it probably right now to Love until I see more production in the playoffs and a full season from him. I know we had 2 seasons ago where he had a great playoff run. Last year was a little bit inconsistent. I still am not willing to sign off on Jordan Love as the long-term, and by long-term solution, I'm saying like the quarterback for the next 10, 15 years.
Yep.
In Green Bay until I see a really good season, kind of like what we saw with Rodgers in that Super Bowl run. I'm not saying he needs to make the Super Bowl, but I'm kind of saying he needs to make the Super Bowl before I sign up for a long, long time. So I think the difference has been Jalen Hurts' production year over year when it matters. I still don't think we've seen that from Jordan Love. Not saying I'm going to be quiet in terms of which one I'd rather have because I'm very happy with Jordan Love. I think he's going to be that guy. I think with the defense we have this year, with picking, Golden, Matthew Golden, he's going to really have the pieces he needs to shine. But this year he needs to shine. Like this team, I think is a
100%.
Super Bowl team, and I don't want to get ahead of us and say that I love Jordan Love until he shows what he needs to show this year, because everything has been done. Like as much as I gave Gutekunst a hard time in some of these episodes, what more could you really ask for from a player personnel perspective after getting Micah Parsons, other than, I would love a better quarterback room. I really would love a better quarterback room. I think this is a shitty cornerback room, and I wish we would have drafted a little bit differently when it comes to cornerbacks. But other than that, I really had nothing to complain about. If this team doesn't go to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't blame Brian Gutekunst.
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree. To backtrack on your point about anybody calling Jalen Hurts a fluke is just coping and just not a football knower. I think Jalen Hurts is a very talented QB, for sure. But I would remiss not acknowledging the situations he's been given in the support system he's had. I mean, just looking at our playoff game against them last year, and obviously I won't get to the calls, the referee, right? That's kind of what sore losers do and sore people that say, "Oh, the game's not fair" or whatever. But there was that kickoff call that just kind of turned the whole situation of that game. But just for Jalen Hurts, some of the weapons he's had, the defense he's had to put them in situations that they've had. It's not saying that anybody in his position could have done what he's done at all. I think that would just be a stupid comment to make, because I don't think any QB could just be substituted into that offense and work. I do think he is the perfect QB for that offense and to make it work to his full potential. I just think that when you take them out of the situations, when you take them out of the systems and kind of put a head to head, I think Jordan has a few more tools to work from a very basic standpoint. And I think if roles were reversed, if Jalen was in our offense more so, I don't think he would be as successful. Of course, these are all what ifs, and I try not to live too much in hypotheticals, because I don't come from the SEC conference. But sorry, that was a little shot I had to throw at them. But ultimately, I'm really happy with Jordan. I am. I think last year he wasn't 100%. He's really playing through an injury all year. I think his first season under the helm really got us excited, even though it started rough. But I do agree with you, Mike. I think this year, with the tools that have been given, the defense upgrade, the draft in the first round, wide receiver, going out there, getting Aaron Banks, moving Elkton to center, I think this team is really kitted to make a Super Bowl run. And then if anything falls short on Jordan Love's end, he is certainly he's certainly beholden of some of the criticism coming his way, for sure.
I agree. And I'm not criticizing anything. I'm kind of going to take the fifth on who I prefer. But I need to see Jordan Love command this team and win a ton of games, win the division. Like, this is a team that should be winning the division, and honestly should probably be the number one team in this conference. And we should be rooting for the Cowboys tonight, because I think the Eagles are our biggest competition.
I am. I placed my bets. I am a degenerate. I have the Cowboys winning.
I think this game's going to matter towards the end. I think the Packers are by far the best team in NFC North after the Parsons trade. So we just, like, everything's there. We just need to take what's ours now. We should have the ability to be a top team in this league, and if we're not, there's something wrong. And we need to figure out what's wrong. But there really should be no reason. I don't think that we'll have any issues. But that was a big trade, guys. I mean, I don't think we understand how big that changed this team.
It's the biggest trade since the Brett Favre trade.
I think it's the biggest trade maybe in the NFL.
In the NFL.
I was going to say that too.
I was going to say that too.
It's such a huge trade to get the guy of that caliber.
Huge.
At this age. What do you call it? For a team, that's like the one piece that you need to kind of, like, it's basically like, there's a forest, right? And there's like a tree that's like just ready to like start going fire, and it just takes off and everything. Like, it's like gasoline on a fire. That's really what this should be.
You know what it reminds me of? I was on another podcast a couple months ago, and one of my prop questions is, if you could take one person from your rival's team and put them on your team, right? That's one of our favorite hypotheticals. And usually you try and pick of a player that you really like, and you're like, oh, there's no way we could ever get this guy. This is that trade. This is that trade that when you're talking about, like, oh, what is one guy in the NFL, not just your rival, in the NFL that you could get? Michael would have been one of the guys that I had said, and I cannot believe it just happened.
The guy I would have said. Like, I don't think there's anybody else that I would have preferred I
Mhm.
mean, seeing him out of Penn State, the only guy that I remember saying like this guy is so good is the other guy out of Penn State that's playing tonight, Saquon Barkley. Coming out of Penn State. I remember watching Micah Parsons, and people are like, he's just an inside linebacker. He's not gonna be that great. I was like, no, this guy's explosive. Like he's really
Mhm.
good, and I was right. I mean, look, he played really well in Dallas. They moved him to outside linebacker. Is that what happened? He was inside coming out of college, right? Am I not wrong about that?
I think he
I'm
was
not
off
sure.
ball. I think he was off ball linebacker from what
Oh,
I was
Will.
hearing. Yeah, I think he was off ball. Then they moved him, Mike, to pass rush more. I think that's what the case was from what I was hearing.
Got it. But anyway, I was like, this guy's mad good. Like he just
Mhm.
looked mad good, and I was watching him on Dallas, and like some of the plays he makes are just insane. I really hope they double team him because I still think that he can completely kill those double teams, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rashawn Gary should have
Yeah.
a complete,
Exactly.
great way on the right side. Now, the only downside to this trade, other than obviously losing Kenny and having a little bit of a gash up front, is I don't know if LVN has the ability to kind of flash like he did before. Not that I care about that, but like he better take advantage of the snaps that he has on the field because they're going to be limited now. You would
Yeah.
think. But assuming he could take advantage of those, to have three guys like that plus Kingsley and Abare, who is no slouch,
Yeah.
um, that's pretty good defensive pass rush.
Yeah.
Defense end
Yeah.
group. I'm pretty happy with that.
Same.
No, no, definitely. I think. Well, I think they're trying to move LVN inside more. I think a little bit just to maybe throw a mismatch or more like help him stop the run because LVN is better at stopping the run than actually getting pass rush because we really haven't seen it all unless the Tennessee Titans game last year. But still, I mean, like what you guys are mentioning, I think the from this episode right now, I think the two most important players for us it's not Micah Parsons here because we already know what he's capable of, even though I mentioned about the playoffs and he was on Dallas. You guys mentioned of the playoffs atmosphere. But I think Rashawn Garrett and Jordan Love are the most two important players here heading into the season that we have to see because, Mike, you mentioned Jordan Love has to step up his game. We have to see him win ball games for you to consider in the long term. But I do think Rashawn Garrett because now he's like Robin or he has his Batman now. He has his Batman now. So, Robin, we need you to do well for us here.
I agree. I agree. I think those are the two players that could have the biggest impact on this team that haven't solidified our trust at the moment. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on either player. It's just like both get criticism and both have huge opportunities to completely solidify this team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jordan Love, we all know why. I mean, he's the quarterback.
Yeah.
Again, I think Jordan Love has played well. I think he's a good quarterback. But we need him to basically take a step to become an elite quarterback this year.
Yeah.
And Rashawn Gary has the opportunity to be an elite pass rusher because he's supposedly by trade or by definition elite pass rusher, and now he's got the elite pass rusher next to him taking all the attention.
By
So
contract too.
Yeah.
right, so
Like,
if he can't become an elite pass rusher when the guy across from him has 2 to 3 people on him, what is he doing?
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so like those are the
100%.
guys that I don't really have any concern about. I think that they're gonna play amazing and be great. So it's not a knock on them, but it's the guys that we need to live up to their ability because they haven't locked in that reputation yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I agree. I agree. I think, like we mentioned this, we've talked about this before, Mike. We need game changers on this team. We have some game changers that can be good. And now we got Micah Parsons as like a guy that people fear when he's on the field. We need Rashawn Gare. We need Jordan Love to be like you mentioned that elite guy to like put fear into those defense or those opposing O lines in this quarterback's face. We need those guys. I mean, we did it with Xavier McKinney, Josh Jacobs, great signings from Goody. You need Jordan Love, like we're expecting him, and he needs to step it up. And then Rashawn Gary, like there's no excuse. I swear, there's no excuse for this team to like not make it to at least like the NFC Conference Championship Super Bowl. I mean, I would understand like maybe like a first year, but like still, this team has to have a deep playoff run, in my opinion, to be good.
No, you're 100%. I mean, think about the players we got in this team. Let's just go through everybody for a second, and then like everyone that literally has changed over in the past 2 years. Xavier McKinney, probably the best safety in the league.
Yep.
Micah Parsons, probably the best defensive pass rusher in the league. Rashawn Gary, right? I'm not going to say what level he is.
Solid.
Right? You got
Josh Jacobs, top
Jacobs.
5
Josh
running back
Jacobs.
in the
Yep,
league.
exactly.
Exactly.
You got Jordan Love. You just got Matthew Golden that you picked.
Yep.
Zach Tom, Elton Jenkins,
Zach
2
Tom,
top
yep.
linemen.
We got Cooper.
That's what I was thinking
It's
about.
Cooper.
Edwin Cooper, right?
I mean,
I think
got
he's going to
Clay
make an
somehow.
insane jump this year.
He will.
I think he's
expect
going to
that.
be like Fred Warner type.
Yes, I was
130
gonna say.
tackles, 80 solo. I have Edge going off this year.
He's gonna have a good year. I swear. He's gonna make a Pro Bowl year. I swear.
Yeah. Or as I think John Gruden called him, Edge of Darkness.
Yes, I did see
I
that.
love that.
Yes.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing
we're
I wanna-
loaded, man.
Yeah.
I agree. One
Go
thing
ahead,
I want to get you guys contacts or thoughts on Javon Bullard. He's backing up on the defense to Xavier McKinney,
Yeah.
and then Evan Williams is the other starting safety. So he kind of got demoted a little bit. What's
He
going on
did.
with Javon Bullard? I was pretty excited about him.
I think it's like the coverage they put
Yep.
him in. Like he's supposed to be the nickel back, if I'm
Yep.
correct. So he's gonna be. This is gonna be the nightmare. We're gonna talk about this in a little bit of the Packers Lions preview. Is he's basically Mike going to be the guy who has to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown all day Sunday?
Really?
Basically,
So you're telling me that he's basically the nickel corner?
Yes, because
Nate Hobbs is if he gets playing time.
Yeah, if Hobbs can play, but he did practice today, but like they're still waiting, and then there's also Nixon, but they're gonna put him outside corner. So as Brett just mentioned, you need Hobbs, even though Nixon was very good in the slot. Like I would rather, in my opinion, I would probably put Nixon in the slot, but that's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be like the Preston Smith days, I swear, on Justin Jefferson.
Now I know I know when we had acquired Hobbs, a bunch of our reporters and everyone was talking about how he did fare pretty decently on the outside, even though he's a slot guy. Okay. And one thing we do know is that Nixon doesn't really fare too well on the outside.
Yes.
And is preferred on. So I don't know what Halfley's going to do. I really don't. Yeah. Based on what the depth chart's telling me, I was like trying to figure it out. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
That's going to be my issue. My key matchup for that it's not going to be mostly like obviously the run's going to be important just based off of us losing Kenny Clark and everything, but I think that is going to be a game changer for us of like how we're going to see Sunday go if Amon-Ra has a good day or not, because usually when he has good days they have beaten us so bad and they've owned us the last couple years.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean. I think our cornerback and honestly our secondary outside of safety, so really just cornerback, I guess. It's tough. I mean, having Keyshawn Nixon as a starting quarterback with Nate Hobbs being hurt, and still this is the first year as a Packers cornerback, it's not reassuring, honestly. If there's one place to get this team, it's going to be deep, which is why we need to get to the quarterback, why we need to have a pass rush. Because I don't think these quarters are going to hold some of the receivers we're going against very, very long.
I mean, the other issue, Mike, I will say, though, like, despite like everything with the Micah Parsons, that's great and everything, we didn't draft a CB till the 7th round. We took a pass rush in the 3rd round. Like, when like that, like I liked the Parsons trade at first, but then I'm like thinking back to the draft, I'm like, what the heck did we go all through this for then of like us drafting? Like, I know Mike doesn't like the Anthony Belton pick. He was much of a too high pick, but like, like I love the Matthew Golden pick and everything, but I was like, I wanted a CB guy within the first 3 rounds, and we didn't.
I'm with you, Jeremy. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's my issue. Like, nothing against these guys or anything, but like, why are we just holding? Like, this has been a problem for me with the Packers. Is like, there's obviously a major problem, like with a position like we obviously need to fix, and then they wait till last second basically, like until it's like, okay, it's clear we need to address it when it could have easily been addressed before, like instead of being preventable about it. Like that's my issue with it. And
especially when it's the 2nd year in a row. And I'm gonna throw a little throwback to the last time we were all on a podcast together on that draft night. Y'all remember how upset I was when we took Jordan Morgan.
Yes.
Over Cooper. DeJean. And
Yeah.
I tried to say it wasn't my homerism being from Iowa and everything. But man, what could have been?
We could have
and
had him.
then year 2, losing Jair or letting him go. We signed Nate Hobbs, like you said, yeah, whatever. But we still needed another young guy to come in, and then just not addressing that at all in the draft. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
That's why. That's like that was my home run. I was with you, Brett, when I was doing my mock draft. I'm like, this is the one guy I want, and we could have had him in the second round too. Like we could have had him like without Bulwer, we could have had Cooper DeJean instead.
Yeah.
Like that's what mind boggles me. He's like, Cooper is gonna be in my head like every single year now, even though he's with the Eagles. Like it's gonna annoy me of like how we did not take that guy, and I'm so ticked off about that still to this day. I wish we did. I wish we got him.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, no, I mean, cornerback is clearly the weak link in this team.
Yep.
I don't think there's any question about it. I think people are going to try to take advantage of us for it.
It's no secret.
Nope, definitely not. But I think there's some ability for players to take a step. I don't think we're completely exposed. Also, I think Bo Melton's one of these guys. It's kind of a wild card. No one really knows anything about him.
Right.
So as much as I don't think that's probably the best option at quarterback, could be wrong. I mean, who knows? I mean, no one really knows. So
right.
Apparently had a good camp. I can't speak too much for it. Wasn't there and didn't really pay attention too much in the preseason for his performance. But I think that he could be a wild card where maybe he's somebody that we don't expect. So I guess we'll see. But again, hopefully is masked a little bit by an insane pass rush. So
yeah, I think Bo, since you brought him up, I think he might bring that that knowledge of being a former wide receiver, that he knows the tendencies of the league as just even as wide receiver in the league for 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
I think he might know a little bit more from that side and insight, being just going straight to the exact opposite side of the ball. Who knows? He might bring something to that secondary.
Yeah. I mean, he's if I'm correct on the depth chart, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he like the backup outside corner?
Right behind Nixon, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You got to think he's got to get some playing time, either by injury.
Absolutely, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, since we've been on with our team of basically neglecting of how our team could perform better, and with Micah Parsons. Let's move into the preview now of this Lions-Packers game here. The Lions, what happened for them? Because we just talked about what happened to the Packers this offseason. With the Lions, they lost both the coordinators. They lost a couple guys in the O-line. Their center retired a couple months ago. They lost what's the one? I forget the guy's name, but he was part of like that's the play that like the trick play where they get the touchdown, then got called back against Dallas and all that. He got cut apparently. And of course they traded of course for the Lions, they are now getting Aiden Hutchinson back now. So that's the one bright side we'll say for the Lions defense. So, yeah, Brett, I just want to get your thoughts on that, like what you expect here for this Packers of like with Matt LaFleur and Dan Campbell and everything.
Yeah, and me and my guys, Max and Lucas, we talked about this too together just a couple of days ago, and we always think, week one's tough. There's so much smoke over training camp and the off season, and we know how much our friends in Chicago love to blow the smoke about what happens between the end of the season prior to the start of this one. So we were really having a tough time with this one, especially like you mentioned, they lose Ben Johnson, their OC, Aaron Glenn, their DC. How is the coordination efforts? You can have the personnel, but if you don't have the right coordination, you don't have the right setup, there will be holes in your operations, and that can completely deflate what you had going on prior. I think Dan Campbell's a great head coach in what he needs to do in being a cheerleader and getting everybody under the same roof to do what they need to do and understand their assignments. But when it comes to the play calling, when it comes to what those coordinators were able to bring to the table every week, you knew it was going to be tough. And the coordinators going against them knew it was going to be tough. So I think those are huge losses for them. So I think it's a huge question mark. Now, I do think last season was the peak of this
I
certain
agree.
squad and coaching staff that they had. I don't
Mhm.
think they take a huge step back this year, but I
Mhm.
do think they took a step back, whether it was a
Agree.
micro inch or a full step back. So
Mhm.
going into this week one, looking at how we faced them with this exact, virtually the same squad and coaching staff, with some new shining additions in Golden and Micah Parsons, I think we bring two new chess pieces to the table against this team, and I
Yep.
think we get the leg up in that scenario. So I think Golden is going to be a huge weapon on crossers and getting open and plays where our wide receivers last year and the year before kind of struggled to either get open or were dropping passes. And this
Yep.
dude's got vice grips, so I think he fixes two issues going against this stout Lions defense. And then Micah Parsons, of course, getting to Jared Goff was a huge struggle when we played
Yes.
Lions. It just felt like he has so much time and he could make any pass and every pass he wanted to make. It seems like he would go 18 for 19 against us every game. It was just ridiculous. So
Mhm.
them losing, who did they lose on the line? Right,
Frank Ragnow
Ragnow.
and
That's right.
yeah, Frank Ragnow.
So they lost a couple guys that they were depending on, and we gained a guy that's a game wrecker. So I think we
Yep.
get to Goff a bit more, and
Mhm.
I think that's going to force more turnovers that were harder to get against this Lions team, and our defense is
Yes.
going to be able to turn the ball, put the ball back into Love's hands. I think that's going to be the biggest key to this game. Is what we lost last year and prior was time of possession. The Lions held the
Yes.
ball, that kept Jordan on the sideline. We weren't able to do what we needed to do, and they were just running over our defense. I think that changes this week. I think it changes this year for most games. So that's what I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to week one. I think we need to capitalize on getting to Jared Goff and, of course, turning the ball over. And then hopefully our wide receivers, their sophomore slump's over and they take that step back and start catching the ball. I believe I believe in Wicks still and
Mhm.
Jaden Reed when he gets in there. I don't know how much he's going to play with his foot dealing.
Yep.
Romeo, all reliable, and then I think just implementing Golden's going to be a leg up. So and then Josh Jacobs is he's just going to be continue to be our bell cow and our
Yep.
engine, and
Yeah.
he'll be our safety valve. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's my outlook.
No. I think the one fun thing that I would love to see, because I remember that when Rogers had Watson, he did this, or I think it was like when Love he did this maybe the first game, like on the first couple plays, was he took a deep shot right away. I would love to see a Matthew Golden deep shot first play to see it go, or second play, whatever it may be. Take a deep shot on Golden, set the tone right off the bat. I'd love to see it because they've done it. I think it was the second game last year. He did, Love did to Watson when they were in Detroit, if I'm correct.
hmm I think
So I would love to
having
see
a
that.
tone setter on both sides of the ball is
Yeah.
going to be huge because if they got the ball first, Michael Parsons is going to be our tone setter. If we get the ball
Mhm.
first, like you said, Golden or maybe Josh Jacobs on a
Yeah.
big run or something is going to be that tone setter for our offense, and that's something that we just need to punch them in the mouth right away
Exactly. But yeah, to
to
bite
keep
off
them
their
on their heels.
kneecaps. Yeah, bite off the knee.
Yeah,
I like to say that for just because Dan Campbell. But like, what are
yeah.
your thoughts here as we head into this week one match against the Lions?
So my thoughts. Look, I think if there's one team in the league or the NFC that I'm worried about that probably is our match, it's still the Lions. I think they're still the
Hmm.
team that we need to beat. Um, I think they still have one of the best chances of winning the division outside the Packers. And I think that they're set up pretty well against the Packers. They have Jameer Gibbs, right?
Yep.
hmm
Said the Packers have a tendency, I think, with losing Kenny Clark to probably have a hole up the middle. Jameer Gibbs is one of the better running backs in the league. Plus, they have David Montgomery, so they have a good running game.
Hmm.
And the wide receivers thing, they have a good slot receiver, of course, one of the best slot receivers in the league. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is kind of going to be the way to beat the Packers here: run the ball and get the ball out quickly, with the pass rush to elite receiver over the middle, and that could be Amon-Ra. Plus, they have Jameson Williams on the outside. Don't have really a great outside quarter. If Jared Goff gets more time, I think Jameson Williams could be a threat. Plus, they got a good tight end, Sam Laporta.
Hmm.
So all this stuff is adding up. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And don't forget, they got probably the best tackle in the league in Panay Saul. To what do you call it? Block Micah Parsons. That's assuming he plays all the time. So, um, this Lions offense is still one of the best offenses in the league, although they did
Absolutely.
lose,
Absolutely.
their offensive coordinator. So it's still to be determined how they play on their new offensive coordinator, who I don't know who it is. But that's on offense. And defense, of course, they have Aiden Hutchinson coming back. So to meet Micah Parsons is Aiden Hutchinson. So basically, those two, you know, uh, knock each other out in terms of, or cancel each other out in terms of who has the better defensive end, because I think they're number one A, 1B. And then don't forget, Brian Branch, the guy that we
Yeah.
didn't, we thought about maybe getting the last year, couldn't get it.
Yeah.
They have Jack Campbell and inside linebacker. Like, this is still a very good team, although they
Yeah.
lost a lot of their coordinators who were the
Yeah.
masterminds behind kind of the performance last year. And they still have Dan Campbell. Don't forget about that. So Lions are
Yeah.
going to be a good team. We need to get this win. This one's at home. This is the game to win. Um, so yeah, we need to win. And don't forget, last year we went 0-6, right?
One
One
and
Or
five.
six?
1-5
Sorry, one and
because
five against
because
divisional
the
teams.
yeah because of the
You're
finger
right.
and whatever.
1-5 against divisional teams. That can't happen. Cannot
No.
happen.
Mm-mm.
No.
So we
No.
need to start with a win here. I think the
Two were
Packers win.
game-winning field goals, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we get the win this week. I'm sure we'll do predictions later, but
Yep.
not gonna be easy. You need to come out. What do you call it? Fighting. Come
Yeah,
out
Yeah.
punch them
swinging.
in the mouth.
Right.
Exactly.
Can't have happen what happened Thursday night football either
Last
last year or the year before, where we got blown out by the Lions.
Yeah.
So
Just
that's
brutal.
my thoughts.
No, I think we all know what Dan Campbell going to do is to go for a fourth down every single time. This is something that you have to be prepared for, and it did not look great last year. Like for example, on that last game-winning drive that we just mentioned about the Thursday night game last year, had the Packers stopped him when they went for on that fourth down, the Packers could have easily won that game then with that momentum because they would have not be able to attempt the field goal at the end. And technically, Jared Goff did hit the ground but wasn't touched. I don't know why from the refs here, but that has to be the case. Is you have to be ready for the fourth downs. You have to be aggressive here. Like you got to play combat football is what I always like to say here with this Packers offense. Can't be turning the ball over because the Lions have feasted on us for those turnovers. So limit the turnovers here. You have to win the turnover battle. So that's my one important thing, key to win. The number two thing is fourth downs and third downs here. Got to be aggressive here too. If you're on offense, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. If it's 4th and 3, 4th and 4, maybe, depending on the distance there where you are for field goal range, I go for it because I want to go for it all. Like I want to take a little copycat from Dan Campbell is not to be totally stupid, but be aggressive and smart play here. I think that has to be the case and very disciplined. I think that the one thing that's going to be questioned for this offense is, especially if you watch the preseason games, this team was not disciplined. When I saw the amount of penalties that kept getting thrown every single time, that has to get adjusted right off the bat. So I think that has to be those are like the things you got to take care of your mind because you've seen the Lions break our hearts multiple times the last couple of years and have owned us so much. So they got to take care of business. You got to take care of business about that. I mean, you got Brian Branch. You added your new CB DJ Reed from the Jets, who the Packers were trying to get and didn't happen there. We got Nate Hobbs instead. So like you got to watch out because they basically switch with DJ Reed replacing Carlton Davis, which Carlton Davis was more penalized CB. Now he's in New England now, so you got to be forcing those penalties. And plus, the Lions, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are dirty players. They always try to take Tucker Kraft's knee out last year, so you got to be careful with that, as I like to say here. But punch him in the mouth, as we've been saying here, and take care of the ball is what I like to say here for this. And I've seen the highlight clips of like when Micah Parsons has been on Panay, so he's had success against him. So that is one good sign I'm happy with about that. But I think it's really like coming down to the matchups here. Like you got to stop the run because you got Montgomery and Gibbs. Like I'm going to be seeing. I'm what I've been heard, and Brett was saying about this book from the training camp. Like the Bears always like to play. The Bears fans like to play around with that. The one thing I kept hearing was Jameer Gibbs is going to be more around like what Aaron Jones was in the backfield, being more in the passing game. So that you have to stay alert for because I don't think that was used a lot, if I can remember, from the Lions offense last year. So they're trying to be more unique about that. So I think the three guys you got to be obviously is the three-headed monster with Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameer Gibbs. You got to watch out for. But you also got to get pressure on Jared Goff because we kept doing very good on defense pass, but we just couldn't get pressure on because Goff had at least 6-7 seconds to throw the ball. So
yeah, and you mentioned Panay matching up with Micah and Micah having somewhat of success. They might consider bringing him a little bit of help, but like Mike said earlier too, is I just see that as an opportunity for Rashawn Gary.
Yes, I agree.
To wreak havoc on Jared Goff. So hopefully that's something we see on Sunday.
No, that definitely is. I mean, right now, if you, the Packers are favored, I believe 2.5 right now, but like the percentage is like 58 Lions, 43 Packers. So to me, it's basically a gimme, and I think this is the one time where I think the Packers have more surprise here, or more to advantage. Excuse me, not surprise, more to advantage. I will say, Brad and Mike, because they lost a lot of guys here this offseason. I think it's going to take time for Lions to be prepared and get adjusted. So I think week one gives us that advantage to win right away and surprise them and come out right away with win compared to the Thanksgiving game this year where the Lions will be more ready. They'll be more ready to go out and test and go on the field and be prepared. So I think week one matchup, given what has happened with the Lions this offseason, now, of course, it's a mystery to see what the Lions are going to do, but I think the Packers have more advantage to get ready to scoop out because the Lions are going to be confused trying to get adjusted what the play call is going to be and everything and trying to get ready for it. So I think that's the advantage for the Packers here. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the game or do we want to go into predictions?
Just bite their kneecaps off and hand Dan Campbell his baby diaper. Hand it right to his face and say, great game, is what I like to say here because he wears his diaper every game and doesn't change it at all. So make sure he has a terrible diaper by the end of the game. Just hand it to his hand and say, great game. You played terrible, but that's how we play in Packerland.
There we go. And it's just an update on the game here. It's the COVID score, 2021. Cowboys 20, Eagles 2021 going to half. So good game out in Philadelphia right now.
Wow.
That's a lot higher score game than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. I think I bet the over on 23.5 for first half points, so that's awesome.
There we go.
Murdered the over. So
murdered it. Yeah, it almost doubled it.
That's great. That's great.
Should we go to predictions, or you have any other thing on the schedule? Yes, no, maybe so.
That's for you, Jeremy.
Oh, for me. I'm ready to go to predictions.
All right, same here. All right, Brett, you want to kick us off as our guest?
I can give you my prediction that I've been brewing. I like I said earlier, I think it's going to come down to us getting that pressure on Goff that's been missing the past few matchups that we've had. So in doing so, I think we get a nice defensive score, whether it's a pick six or a strip sack returned, and that kind of gives us that extra score ahead of them. And I got us coming out on top 27-20. I'd love to see the Lions turn their focus on our passing game and forget that we got a weapon, number 8 in the backfield. I can see him going off for a lot of multi-purpose yards for sure.
I agree.
What about you, Jeremy?
For me, I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game that's like it's been the past couple years, and I'm pretty sure the last year when you lost to the Lions, it was by 3 at least, if I'm correct. The last 2 games last year in that game-winning field goal, and then I think at the very end it was very close to 3 points, if I'm correct. In that rainy,
and then they turned it to 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game. So I'm going to say 35-32 Packers. I think it's going to be a very high scoring game
Wow.
here. I think that, or I could see 27-24, but that's usually my every time it's a 3-point score, but that's never worked out for me. So I'm just going to say 35-32 to make it a little oomph there. Make it a
It's
little oomph for
week
you
one,
guys.
might as well. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't know what's going to happen. Mike, you.
So in terms of the things I'm looking out for, one, Matthew Golden's first game as a Packer, looking out for that. Like to see Micah Parsons play well, although I kind of agree. I don't think he's going to play at full strength. I think he definitely suits up. I think they use him strategically. Um, I'm looking to see how Jordan Love plays out week one. Looking to see how this offensive line plays together. Like you said, Elgin
Yep.
Jenkins is now center. Rasheed Walker, I'm assuming, is going to start.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
He stated
Over
that.
Jordan. Yeah.
See how Aaron Banks plays in this team.
Mhm.
We got the tight end battle, Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, right? So that's something to look out for. How the cornerbacks play. And there's a lot of storylines to keep track of in
Mhm.
week one. In terms of the Packers Lions, I do think that the Packers get this one mostly because it's at home.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if we split with the Lions, so I got to give this one for the Packers at home.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to say it's a little bit of a not as close of a game as Brett had. I'm going to say it's 30 to 17 Packers.
Ooh.
Reason why I think that Jordan Love's gonna have a big game. I think Matthew Golden's gonna have a big game, and I do think that Micah Parsons has a big game. Even though I do think they use him strategically, I think he's gonna be that big of a player for the Packers that he gets. I'm gonna say 2 sacks this game, and I think
Hmm.
Rashawn Gary gets 1. So I think the Packers could get at least 4 or 5 sacks. If you think that the defensive line could get some as well.
I like
Hmm.
it.
So
Hmm.
I think
Like
the
it.
Packers ends up coming up on top of this one. Not saying that
Mhm.
it's going to be a smooth ride moving forward. I think
Yep.
that you got to go 1-0 every week. But I do like our chances this year, especially after this Micah Parsons trade. And I would imagine I picked them more weeks than not. But we're also Packers fans and are biased, and I'm sure even without Micah
What?
Parsons, we'd be making the um,
What are you talking about?
same predictions. But no, I really think that we should be starting off the season on a good note here.
Yep.
Going to the next few games, which who do we got to look forward to? We got the Commanders on
And
Thursday,
there's
right?
Thursday.
We're gonna have a quick
Yep. That's a quick
turnaround.
game. Yep.
1 week from today, we'll be watching a Packers football game.
Mm-hmm.
We
We got
got
the
to figure out if we're
Brown.
streaming, Jeremy.
I don't know, Mike. The last times we have streamed, we are 0-2, if I'm correct, and that was to a
And
terrible team.
oh,
So
it's not even 0-2. It's like like we got destroyed 2 times.
yeah,
So
so
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, Mike. We gotta see for our luck's sake because we're playing the Browns, but still, I mean, you never know on a given Sunday or
Right.
whatever day. Yeah.
Well, no, we're playing the Commanders next week, or the
Oh, I meant
2
week
weeks.
three. Sorry.
Week 3 is
Or yeah,
Browns.
yeah, yeah.
Then we got the Cowboys week 4. It's gonna be a
That's gonna
big
be a
game.
fun game.
So, all right, great stuff. Any last thoughts before we wind down?
Well, I already said my speech about for what I like the Packers to do. I'll say one quick little thing. I think the Packers are going to use Micah Parsons as a decoy against Penei Sewell and the Lions offense, and this gives Rashawn Gary, maybe Lucas Van Ness, depending on who gets a lot of reps or gets more pressure. I believe one of those guys will have 2 sacks in that game. I'm going to say boldly,
Wow.
or a strip sack, or a strip fumble. I'm going to say that boldly here on this episode.
Well, I know Micah Parsons in his news conference talked about doing a Lambo leap, so maybe he could return that and get a Lambo leap.
I would love it. I would love it.
That'd be
Can you
great.
imagine being at Lambeau when that happens?
Are you going to a game this year, Brett?
I need to. I want to try. I'll try. I'm not in the plans yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I need to.
Yeah, I don't have any plans yet either. Maybe I'll save it for the MC Championship game.
Yeah,
There you go,
But no, I
Mike.
think I'm gonna
we'll
try
do a
to.
little collab.
Well, here's the thing. I'm still trying to go to that Packers Steelers game, plus the Giants game. I'm definitely
Yeah,
going
the
to. So
Giants.
things I need to look into. But yep. Running out
They
of
don't
time.
come down for me.
Running out of time.
They don't come down to Florida this year, so I'd have to go somewhere.
Now the closest they are is
Dallas,
technically
I think.
Dallas.
I don't
guess,
think we don't even play
you don't get
Atlanta, so
anywhere
yeah,
near,
I'd have to. Yeah.
So you have to you have to go
Rip.
pretty far.
Yeah. But I run a page called Packers Diehard, so I wouldn't be a diehard if I didn't make the effort, right?
That's right. That's right. All right. Do you want to say where to find everyone?
Yep. Brett,
Brett,
we will start with you.
Start up.
Well, like I said, yeah, we run Packers Diehards. It's just at Packers Diehards on X and Instagram.
Nice.
Give them a watch, and yeah, thanks for the collaboration again on the.
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The draft,
it was a lot of fun.
Tonight, but also the draft show we did. That was great with you guys. So we had the whole team on that one, and if you guys like this episode, like Brett coming on, definitely go back and watch our draft episode. That was great. We did a nice amount of work on that one. And we had the whole clan on for that one, so that was great.
Yeah,
so
we did.
Thanks again for coming on, and thanks for Jeremy for setting this up tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Go Pack.
And Jeremy, you're up.
Oh yeah, real quick. Of course, you can find me on the YouTube channel. Which, if you need any Micah Parsons funny video, any breakdown of the whole complete trade, where I go through the analysis of where Jerry's an idiot, and thank you for being an idiot, Jerry. Contract details, where he fits in this defense, and everything about that. Go find it out there. And if you want to see my Packers hype trailer video, it is on my YouTube channel. If you're a fan of the TV show Friends, you'll really enjoy it a lot.
Yes.
So you should watch it. If you are a Friends Packers fan, go enjoy it. I beg of you.
And for me, the game is about to come back on to the second half, and I don't want to hold up our viewers from watching the game to hear about my non-existent work in the Packers sphere outside of PackReacts, which PackReacts has had a lot of success recently with our guest last week, Tom.
Congratulations!
So
thank you, bro.
Thank you, Jeremy, for all the work that Jeremy's done. Jeremy's done a lot of work the past few weeks. So I just want to spotlight Jeremy for all the work he's done.
Thank you, Mike.
We also had John and Big B on. I will take some credit for that.
I'll give you credit on that one.
That part together. I will also take credit for a guest, which we have not announced yet, that should be coming on in the next few weeks.
We got it.
So, spending some time on the show. Hopefully, we continue to grow. Maybe doing a guest appearance on another podcast pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
We'll have to see. We were discussing that pre-show.
Uh-huh.
But so we'll be in contact about that, Brett. But other than that, you can find me on PackReacts. You can find me in New York City. And honestly, 2 days ago, you could find me in the Rocky Mountains on a 14,000 foot mountain peak. But you can't find me there anymore. Luckily, I'm safe in my apartment back in the city. But that was cool. But it had nothing to do with the show. So I still need to put as much effort as Jeremy does into this thing. But it's fun stuff. So thanks. Thanks for watching to the viewers. And again, if you are interested in coming on the show, we'd love to have you. Just reach out to Jeremy or myself or the show's page. This show is about fans. It's about guests, not about Jeremy and I. I think we get pretty boring if we keep hearing us talk. So we want other voices and other people explaining their thoughts and love for this team. So that's all I got.
No, definitely like Brett, and especially if you're trying to be a guest here, the guest list is booking a lot recently.
Wow.
So,
we might have to make them wait.
Well, we got plenty. We got some weeks, but we have, I will say now, Mike, 7 guests if we include Brett tonight. We have 7 guests total this season coming on.
Wow, we're becoming a hot commodity here.
I think Jeremy reached out to me like a month and a half ago or something too. I was like,
"That's so true."
I'm like, dude, I haven't even kickstarted my page yet. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jeremy's doing a great job. I'm gotta say, we got to put Jeremy on the payroll. And not that there's any income to take from.
Unfortunately not.
Jeremy, we got to start talking to some sponsors here. Brett, I've been meaning to.
We need help with Brett.
Some merch together. The merch that you showed us.
Yeah, you guys should do it. Yeah, if you need any help figuring out what you want to do, let me know.
You might have to send us the page again. I kind of forgot.
Yeah.
Okay. But we got to do that. We got to get the merch together. So
let's do it.
All right, cool. Thanks again for coming on.
Of course.
Jeremy, want to take us out?
Yeah, as we always do here. Hopefully, we don't screw up as we always have done, probably like every single episode, except Gross last week because we didn't do that part. But we like to say "Go Pack Go" here because that's what we say here as Packer fans. That's our secret code word. If you say it to a random person on the street, you're at the beach, and you say like how I met Mike, you become great friends and all of that. So you gotta
Can I
say
say
"Go
one
Pack
thing real
Go."
quick?
Okay, go ahead,
I
Mike.
was in Rocky Mountain National Park over the weekend. Met
Yes.
2 Packers fans on the trail. Those were in my Packers shirt. One of them was a fan of Tom Grossi, and he's following us on
There we go.
Twitter. On Twitter now. So
Nice.
the other one I was kind
Organic
of rushed, so I
follow.
didn't mention it. But if you're the gentleman that I met with his wife on the Rocky Mountain National Park Trail, welcome to the show. Doubt you're listening to this right now, but if you are, please reach out. We'd love to have you on.
Shout out.
Shout
Love to
out.
hear about how the hike went. So yep, that's all I got.
All right, back to it. So, as we're going to say 1, 2, 3, we're going to say "Go Pack Go." And audience, we like to hear you, even though we can't hear you. We would appreciate just to hear you that you're listening to us at least. So, on the count of 3 here, 1, 2, 3.